welcome back to Glitter Budget with your hosts, Anjanette,
And Jess.
and we're continuing our Buffy series.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little excited. But in this episode, we're discussing season 2,
Yes.
which I think this is we're just talking about it. It's when Buffy starts to get like really good, really.
You get
There are
a,
a lot of like iconic episodes in season
yeah.
2.
Oh yeah. I would say there's a lot of iconic episodes. There's a lot of introduction to some key characters. You get a lot more depth with the characters that have already been introduced, and you kind of start to see where some of their stories are headed a little bit.
Yeah.
No.
And like I think even the filler episodes, which weren't rated as high as obviously like the key episodes, they still had some pretty good scenes and
Yeah.
whatnot in those episodes. Like there's Ted is one of the episodes in season
I
2.
hated it.
I don't like it, but I believe what Jason Ritter, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He was he very very beloved actor, sadly passed away.
Yeah.
But in his episode, like you kind of like it gives Joyce, Buffy's mom, kind of more depth to her character because she is trying to move on from being divorced from her husband, Buffy's father. And she's going back into the dating world, and Ted is a guy that she meets, but Ted turns out to be a robot,
Killer robot.
a killer robot. Yeah, and
Oh, all right. So I didn't like the episode for the most part, and I didn't like Ted's character, but um, this did give one of those, oh shit, like I'm a Slayer and I have Slayer strength,
oh
and
my
I
god,
can't use
yeah,
this with people.
yes,
So that was a hard lesson.
yes. So that's why I say like even like the side the filler episodes kind of added to the overall story of Buffy.
I think, yeah, and her learning and training process.
Yeah. So in that episode though, um Ted comes off as like a very he's overbearing. He's trying to control everything, every aspect of Buffy's life. And obviously, she as a teenager does not want some new dad. And he's already like, and the things are moving very quickly between Ted and her mother. And they're already discussing like getting engaged and moving in, all this kind of stuff. And she's just like, like, she's obviously not for it.
Yeah, she's not for it, but like behind closed doors, kind of like when Joyce isn't around, like he's very like he'll grab her arm,
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff to like like knock it off, like don't ruin this day for us and stuff like that. Just it starts to get like a little physical.
Yeah.
So Buffy's kind of like, if you want to play that game, you're gonna lose, and unfortunately, like she thinks that she kills him.
Yeah.
Um,
And it, like, there was an investigation that was starting to be conducted because Buffy said, like, well, she hit me. And the police officers are like, well, you don't have any marks on you. But she's the Slayer. She heals quickly. Because when it's something like a human, even though it's a robot human, and he should presumably have more strength than a standard human, um, she doesn't have any marks. But
yeah.
the it kind of like shows the dynamic of shifting between her and her mom
Yeah.
because her mom kind of like can't look at her because Joyce thinks that Buffy killed her lover. You know, and it turns out that Ted was a robot, came back to life, and freaked everyone out, and ended up killing him for sure, instead of just short circuiting him.
But yeah, I think that was like a really harsh slap in the face, as far
Quite
as
literally.
Yeah. But again, just the fact that like you said, she's a teen. She has all these crazy powers and this crazy strength when she's used to fighting, being that can handle that.
Yeah.
And when that spills over to like kind of like the real world, or you're just your average folks,
Mhm.
you gotta rein it back.
Yeah.
And I think that's tested like a couple times that she's had to deal with, and it's one of those things you have to keep yourself in check. But when you're a teen, it's like the worst thing. Like, we don't have control over that. Like,
Yeah.
teens are the worst. They're very impulsive.
Yes. Yes.
I would have
Because
killed so many people.
yeah. I think if yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I probably would have killed people now with my psyche being developed and all.
I feel like I would have killed people again, like more impulsively, like out of just like, quick anger and then be like, shit.
Yeah.
I think now it'd be a little bit more,
It would be
planned.
more well thought out. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah.
But
Moving on.
they had a lot of good episodes. The first episode of the season when she was bad, Buffy comes back from spending the summer with her father and she's very detached and going through some shit because when we last left her, she had died and died to save the world.
Yep.
She came back and she just kind of like immediately goes and doesn't really like address her trauma or anything, which, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And it does kind of show that like how people kind of react to trauma. They kind of act out of character, and what she does is that when she comes back to Sunnydale, she upsets the dynamic that they have. So in the previous season, they have the three. There's Buffy, Xander, and Willow, and there's Giles. And when she comes back, she upsets that
She's a bitch.
the balance. Yes, she's a bitch. And Cordelia kind of has this to me, like this great line where she's like, "You're really campaigning for bitch of the year, aren't you?" And Buffy comes back, like, quips back. She's like, "As reigning champion, are you afraid?" And like, it's just she's just acting completely out of character. Like she does this like sexy little dance
Oh,
with
yeah.
Xander. Like they're at the Bronze, which is the dance club, and she's just like grinding on him, like rubbing all over him,
It's
and then
very sensual.
she just fucking leaves. And that's when Cordelia is like,
What the
the
fuck?
fuck? And Xander finally getting what he's always wanted with Buffy is just like, oh my god, she finally likes me, and everyone else is like, there's something wrong with her, and he's like, can you
Aw.
just let me have it?
Yeah. It's kind of like a slap in the face to him, too, like them saying something like that.
Yeah.
But not only that, like, you could tell, like, how blinded he still is for his feelings for her, not picking up on that there's something wrong and that what she did was just really fucked up and, like, rude and disrespectful to him. Like,
Yes, not just that, but like in just a general friend way. Like,
yeah.
yeah, just essentially how you were just saying. It's like she knows Willow's feelings for him, she knows Xander's feelings for her, and you're gonna fucking do that?
Yeah.
Like that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. So, she essentially is pushing away everyone from her. And she's like she's pissed at everyone essentially for what happened.
Yeah.
Not actually like processing anything. So she's pissed at Angel, she's pissed at Giles, she's pissed at Xander, um Willow, everyone. But it turns out that what kind of like also pisses her off is that the master that she killed, who killed her first, his little followers are trying to resurrect him.
Yeah.
So there's a ritual that involves the master's bones and all of those present when um when he died. But the ritual as it was read is like the person closest to him. So Buffy thinks that it's her. But it's not. It's all of the people that were actually like physically close to him when he died, which was everyone but Buffy, Xander, and Angel.
Yeah.
Because I think they were elsewhere. So it's Miss Calendar, Giles, Cordelia, Willow, Who else? And is that it?
I think so.
So that's it. So the ritual, they're trying to kill all of them in order to bring the master back. So Buffy finally gets her head out of her ass and goes and saves the day, and also gets some
Cathartic release.
cathartic release by grinding the master's bones to paste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're, the dynamic is one again. And they
Yes.
can move forward with, her actually processing and talking about how she felt and what she was going through. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think from there, though, like you said, I mean, there are so many good episodes, but you're introduced to so many great characters. You're introduced to Spike and Drusilla.
In the episode School Hard, the third episode. So exciting. So, Spike comes in, and there is supposed to be like some kind of prophecy ritual, whatever, and he's supposed to be heading the charge, Spike, and Spike is under kind of the leader of the Anointed One, who was
Yeah.
from the previous season. So
yeah.
it's still that fucking child. Anyway, this prophetic night is also happens to fall on parent teacher night,
Yeah.
which Buffy is supposed to be decorating for under the tutelage of Principal Snyder,
Yeah.
who is just kind of like, hey, you gotta make sure that this goes well, or else I'm gonna tell your mom about all of the things. So she is trying to keep her mom away from that the entire night that she's there. And that's kind of a task in and of itself. But Spike ends up crashing parent teacher night.
And Spike is supposed to be like, so they know he's in town,
Mm-hmm.
and he's supposed to be really feared because he's already killed 2 Slayers
Yeah.
in his lifetime. So it's everyone's like scared shitless, and he's there for that, and he's also kind of there really for Angel as well.
Yeah.
Angel, when he was Angelus, had sired Drusilla, who I don't remember. Well, sired Spike.
Spike.
I don't remember though why she was ill.
She was trampled by a mob in Prague.
Okay.
So yeah, she isn't up to her full strength, so Spike is taking care of her, sorry. And Spike is always like, he is a lover.
Yeah.
Like, when he loves someone, he loves them with all of his being, and he will do whatever it takes to take care of them. So when he falls hard. So he loves Drusilla super duper muchly.
She's fucking nuts.
And I love her so much. Kill her for me. Kill her for princess. From guts to goddess. My love. I just a fucking But I love the dynamic between those two. Like, I really truly feel like Juliet Landau is Drusilla.
Oh yeah. No, she executed that performance, that character so beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember rewatching it and was just like, she's fucking nuts, man. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
But the reason she's nuts is because Angelus drove her crazy before he killed her.
Yeah.
By killing everyone she loved.
Yes, but she needs to do some. There's like some sort of specific like ritual that he needs.
Oh, that's
she
later.
needs the sire, Angel to.
That's What's My Line? Part 1 and 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but in School Hard, when they're both introduced, Spike is just kind of wreaking havoc, which is like typical Spike fashion. And he ends up what is also typical Spike fashion is that he kind of like he goes in half cocked. He always ends up not dying, which is cool.
Yeah, wow.
But his ideas aren't always fully formed before he acts on them.
No.
So he says he's like a slayer with family and friends. That sure as hell wasn't in the brochure. And
Yeah.
like he's used to fighting slayers that are on their own, which is like that's been the case for every slayer up until Buffy.
Yeah.
Which is why we say that Buffy is so different than any other slayers, because like I said, she's got family and friends, and she's got a watcher that cares for her more than any other watcher has cared for a slayer. More than just like, okay, I gotta teach this bitch how to fight.
Yeah.
But like he actually like cares for her as like a father figure.
I don't like. Listen, Spike's one of my favorite characters. Fucking love that goddamn character. Fuck, I love it. Just love it. Love it.
But
I kind of wish they made him a little bit more of a badass and like he had his shit together a little bit more and he could fight a little bit better with her. You know what I mean? Like it was
yes.
more,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree.
Especially
There
since they talked him up so much before they actually introduced the character. I was like,
they did, but I think what happened with Spike a lot of the time, even back when he did kill those slayers, is that it was in some instances dumb luck.
yeah.
Definitely with the first slayer that he killed, that was
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like dumb luck. That was because the first slayer he killed was a slayer during the Boxer Rebellion in China,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of caught her off guard and whatnot. And the second slayer, who it turns out to be a bigger deal than it was, and we'll mention later. He did fight very well with her.
Yeah. No, yeah, he bested her. I mean, in that
Hmm.
one, like, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I wish they would have had his character be a little bit more. I mean, like, obviously there's I don't know, later on we'll get to that, but like I know later on there's reasons why they're kind of like mad Spike, but yeah, he just kind of turned into like a meh Spike, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I think that what makes Spike so dangerous a lot of the times is his unpredictability.
Yeah,
Like, he's not always going to strike the same way every time, and because he goes in half cocked a lot, it's hard to know what
no,
he's going to do
right,
next, and that's where he can be dangerous.
yeah,
And because you can't really go in with an offensive, you just have to be a defense.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
you never, and he always like shows up at the most like inopportune moments, like the worst times ever.
yeah, so like Buffy wasn't expecting anything because it wasn't. Oh, the Feast of Saint Vitus. That's
That's
what
what
it
it was.
was. I knew I would remember eventually, but yes, it was something um for Drusilla originally, but they he ended up getting impatient and then going to attack the Slayer during, like I said, that
Which I
conference.
don't think she probably expected because there's so many people.
Yes, but they did. That was that was an iconic episode for that, and then another one, Lie to Me. Lie to Me was a good episode.
Yeah,
That one was a more human episode of um a a boy that she had a crush on, that Buffy had a crush on when she was still living in LA at Henry, Billy Fordham. So it was her a friend from a previous life essentially. She he finds out that she's the Slayer, but she doesn't know that. And he comes to her and it's like, "Oh, I'm matriculating into this school, blah 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 blah, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like old times." And Xander and Angel are all super suspicious. So,
I think for her though, it's kind of like a oh hey look
mhm,
something familiar and possibly a normal like relationship and I can see you in the sun
yes.
and you're
So
my age.
exactly, exactly. So she's kind of like super keen to kind of like foster this relationship, which is understandable. But it turns out that Billy Fordham is it's unfortunate. He's sick with brain cancer.
Yeah,
Essentially, he's like riddled with brain tumors, and he's terminal. So he's been trying to strike deals with vampires, namely Spike, that hey, I can help trap the Slayer. you just have to turn me into a vampire. So he is another teenager that doesn't want to die,
Yeah.
which I think is like why this episode for me is so hard hitting is like no one, I don't think, for the most part, no one at any age wants to die. But especially
No.
when you're young, especially when you're a teenager and you realize that you've got so much life left to live, and to be robbed of that and to be in constant pain and
I think that's something that's really like addressed either,
mhm.
is like either kids or teens who have a terminal illness. Like I think, like you said, I think a lot of people think of like, oh, you're a teen, you have plenty of life to live, and like you're healthy, and that's just like a thing. Like you're just super healthy up until like you're old. But
Yeah.
no, like these things do happen, and honestly, again, like if you had the opportunity to possibly not have to go through this and have eternal life, like
Mhm.
you're gonna possibly do whatever it takes to take that opportunity. And unfortunately, he is very, whimsical and gets Buffy to crush hard and ends
Yeah.
up being just complete bullshit. And again, like another harsh growing lesson for Buffy, I think, in regards to love and relationships and how the world works in certain aspects.
Yeah. Like she's questioning why this had to happen at all, and she's just like she asks Giles, she's like, you know, essentially what does it all mean? Like, does that ever get easy? Does growing up ever get easy? And
Yeah.
um he's like, well, what do you want me to say? And she's like, lie to me.
Yeah. Sometimes we just need those we just need to be lied to. We just need
Yeah.
those comforting lies to get through this moment.
Hmm.
And, Giles is always very much like, this is your duty and this is what it is. And like kind of black and white, harsh slap in the face reality, grow up, stop being a kid. And she kind of just asks him that one time to just tell me it's going to be fine.
Yeah. And so he like paints a pretty picture, and she's just like, liar. But that one is like a favorite of mine from season 2. But they have a lot of iconic, like I said, episodes. In there's 2 episodes apart, like two-parter. What's My Line Part 1 and 2. That one involves the ritual of trying to get Drusilla back to normal strength, and that is getting her sire, Angel,
Yes.
and essentially draining and transferring
Energy, right?
energy
Essentially.
life
Yeah.
source from one to the other. But at this point, there are 2 slayers.
Yeah. So you guys remember, anytime one Slayer dies, another emerges. And since Buffy had died in the first season,
Mhm.
Kendra was released up to
Mhm.
Sunnydale, but she had already, like, she knew she was a Slayer. She had already been training.
Yes,
Uh,
she knew she was a potential slayer.
yeah. So she was, but she's very rigid, like, very rigid,
Very by the
accepted
book.
that this was her duty, like, just black and white. This is what I'm here
Mhm.
for. I'm okay with it. This is my life. So
And
she
there's a
gets,
Slayer handbook,
yes.
which Buffy did not know because Giles was like, "Well, it you kind of just you didn't take any other Slayer advice that I gave you, so I just didn't give it to you."
Like, would you have even read it?
Yeah,
Like, let's be honest.
like let's face facts here, Buff. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it kind of gives you like another look into the Slayer world as far as the potentials and how many Slayers are out there and just how this whole thing works. And Buffy kind of like, great, she could do this, and she could be here, and I could just go be a teen,
Yeah,
like
I
because
could
she's
go.
here.
I can go do. I can go be mean. Oh my god, yes. And then that whole identity crisis of like, who am I if I'm not the Slayer?
Yeah,
And so they're having like career day at school, and
oh, that's when
they're trying to they're trying to uh
career
figure
day.
out who, like, they're all taking like aptitude tests
It's basically
essentially.
just like this is the career path that you are best characterized to like go do.
Yeah, and
Essentially,
Buffy is best
correctional.
suited for to be a correctional officer, or something along those lines. And you also meet Oz in season
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, so
So
so Willow and Oz are, uber smart. So they're
yes,
like taken like backstage, and there's like, hors d'oeuvres and people there like from MIT and like all these other crazy schools of like, what will it take to get you to come
yes,
to us?
and so it's understandable why Willow is there, because it's just widely known across the entire school that she is the smartest student at school. And then you look at Oz, and he's just like, I test really well. But Oz is played by Seth Green, and he's just this wonderful, laconic kind of character. He has like the best one-liners, and he is
Unfortunately, though, it was a lot of one-liners.
a lot of one-liners that we'll get to that in the next season or so. But like, just imagine being an actor and you're called to set for one line.
And he was, but like, I hated that though because I loved his character. I loved them together like so
Mhm.
much, and they just didn't give him the due justice that he deserved. I don't know. Like, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate they didn't develop his character and take it where it could have gone.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, when you write a character that is like that, if you don't have someone that is there specific, like that wants that kind of character,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to develop them into anything more than that. But so it might have just been an issue of, well, that's how you wrote them, so
Yeah.
it is what it is. But their their relationship was super cute.
Yeah. I
But
loved it.
yeah, so
Fucking loved
like
it so much.
that's you Oz is introduced, and he'd been crushing on Willow for the past couple episodes. But so Spike is still an issue in this episode because he hires bounty hunters to come kill the Slayer. And also before I forget, Spike at this point has already killed the Anointed One.
Yeah.
So after
So
the
he's
whole
basically like running the show now.
yeah,
Yeah.
after the whole Feast of Saint Vigius thing kind of goes haywire, he goes back to the Anointed One. He's just like, well, the Anointed One is like, well, you kind of fucked that up. So Spike is like, I'm fucking sick of this shit. And he takes the Anointed One, throws him a big ass birdcage type thing, and then just, it's on this pulley system. So he pulleys him up into the sunlight and he dusts him. And that was the end of the Anointed One. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love
He
that.
was fucking pointless.
He was
Did
pointless.
nothing. He added nothing to the show.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I don't know. But I just, like I said, I feel like this season it gets a lot of traction. Your heart is broken. Like so Angel's background a lot more, right? Like who sired Spike, like that whole trio
Yeah.
of where he came from. Obviously, in season 1 that he has a soul, that he was cursed.
Yes.
So you find out that Miss Calendar is actually a gypsy.
Yes, she is a descendant of that
Troop.
clan,
Troop.
tribe,
Troop. Tribe.
gypsy clan, village. She's a gypsy.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. But so they she's stationed at Sunnydale in order because they know
She's a sleeper cell. No, I'm kidding.
essentially.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. The gypsies know that Angelus is in that area, and Angelus has the hots for Buffy. So she's kind of there to kind of fuck up any kind of
She's basically trying to cock block him.
in when you boil it down to its basest ingredients. That's what she's trying to do. We're trying to keep it a little bit more sophisticated than that. God.
Listen, I'm sorry, but it's a moment of true happiness. She realizes that he's starting to get the hots for Buffy. She realizes there's potential for true happiness, so she's trying to cock block it. And in the meantime, though, she starts to fall for Giles.
Yes.
And it's adorable. It's fucking adorable of
It is
him trying to
adorable.
flirt and like
And
be all
she's
appropriate with her. And
Mm-hmm.
them bickering back and forth between like her the computer use and him with like his books.
The one episode where he's just like, "Oh, you forgot your earring um at the library," and he's like, "I assume that's where you dangle it from." He's like, then she's like, "That's not where I dangle it from." And you're like, Miss Calendar.
Wasn't there one where she was
Scandalous.
like, I think he let her borrow a book and she mentioned something about like her like breaking the spine or something like that, or like,
Mm-hmm.
but and he was just like, you did what? What happened? What?
And she's like, "I just wanted to watch you squirm." And he's like, "I trust I gave good squirm." So like she likes to tease him because she does like him,
Yeah.
and he likes her back, and that's all cute and well and good.
Like I said, you start to see that other side of Giles. It's not like this really stuck up, stuffy, just I gotta be in the library and this is my duty. Like you start to see him as like this person who has needs and wants
Mhm.
that connection, and it's freaking adorable.
It is.
And it's
So,
also fucking tragic.
well, because then we cut to Buffy's birthday, her 17th birthday to be exact.
17th, which they happen to mention the age several times during the episode. I'm never
Okay.
gonna let it go. I'm sorry.
This is,
I'm not
we're
sorry.
past that. Past that. Okay, so we've already discussed our issues with this.
I'm sorry.
She's 17. We'll get to that in a second. But so again, Spike and Drusilla are still a thing. But after the whole trying to get Drusilla strong again,
Oh yeah.
Buffy and Kendra fuck up that whole ritual. They get Angel back. They collapse the church that the ritual is going down in, and the church collapses on Spike and Drusilla. But enough of the ritual had worked to where Drusilla got her strength back, but because of an entire fucking church collapsing on Spike, he ends up in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But before that, that was supposed to be the end, I think, of Spike and Drusilla.
Oh yeah.
But because, yeah, that was originally where they were supposed to end it.
Oh.
But because audiences loved them so much, and Spike in particular,
Yeah.
they brought them back. So, at the end of that episode, at the end of that
Yeah.
episode, you see Drusilla being
Scooping
able
him
to
up.
like stand very well, and she lifts Spike up with just one arm to like, okay, we've got this now.
Yeah.
So cut to the episode surprise. So Spike is in a wheelchair. They're planning a party for Drusilla, and Spike ordered this special birthday present. Well, special present for Drusilla, which is the judge.
Yeah.
The judge is this demon that had to be disassembled into all these different parts, and all the parts were scattered across the world. And when assembled, the judge is a demon that can like zap the humanity out of any living being and just obliterate them. So once he gets strong enough, instead of having to like actually physically touch something to take the humanity out of them, he can just
Zap it.
zap it
Yeah.
from wherever. So there one of the packages is intercepted by Buffy, and they were supposed to Buffy's friends were holding a surprise party for her. But once they find out that this during the surprise party, it's found out that, hey, there's this arm, and it's one of the
By the
judge's
way.
arms, and so they're like, okay, well, we gotta do something to stop the judge. So Angel's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go travel to where I know one of his pieces are,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be something that's gonna take like months to do. So Jenny Calendar is like, yeah,
You do that.
you should do that. like
Huge
pronto,
help.
like now. Doesn't matter that it's on her birthday, you should fucking do it now. So they go to the harbor, which is where the delivery is supposed to be going down of this piece, and he's supposed to intercept it and then take it somewhere.
Yeah.
Shit goes down. They barely escape with their lives. They end up going back to Angel's place, doing the hanky panky. Angel loses his soul.
Yep.
Because he got his one true moment of happiness in the ultimate irony of climaxing. Anyway, that happens. So let's move past it.
I'm not going to move past it.
What do you want? What?
I'm just saying that I'm never going to be over it. I'm never going to not bring it up that it was bullshit and it was just a manly thing to write in at the moment of happiness.
I agree. I think it's dumb.
It was, I just have a lot of issues with it. I'm upset about it.
You hear that, Joss? We're upset.
I'm upset. Anyways, so now we're introduced to Angelus.
Angelus. And Angelus is one of those guys that
He's
just
fucking awful.
he takes pleasure in tormenting everyone in every aspect of everything.
Really cruel. Literally like the polar opposite of Angel and how he was with the soul. And you really get to understand why he was cursed and why like so many people were scared of him and the name that he had held for himself. But you know, realizing that Miss Calendar, once they realized like he had lost the soul, they were getting like the orb thing back and try to basically redo the ritual.
Yes.
Which Willow kind of starts to pick up like throughout this season, starts to pick up a little bit of like interest in you know being
witchcraft.
in witchcraft and you know starts to read a little bit here and there. And I think Giles is like, "What you doing? You don't need to read that. Like, don't worry about it."
Yeah, like he's worried about her safety, thinking that she'll go in like too deep and everything. But um, Angelus is he's mad at Buffy for kind of like making him feel human
Yeah.
because he remembers all the things that that Angel did. So he's plotting against her and her loved ones, and he moved in with Spike and Drusilla, and Spike is not having it because
Well, Spike is no longer like
he's no longer top dog.
no.
He's no longer the alpha male, and Drusilla, being crazy, will fuck whatever moves closest to her.
Well, there's that, and I think it's just the whoever has the most power, whoever is top dog, is who she's going to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And Spike at that time, like you said, still in a wheelchair, so there's not
Mm-hmm.
too much you can do about it. And I think even like back in the day, it was still always Angel,
Yeah.
you know. So
But it's like throughout this season, you find out that Spike is kind of milking his injury. Like you find
yeah,
out that he heals fairly quickly, and he doesn't need to be in his wheelchair anymore. He's just kind of biding his time to try to like come up with an idea.
yeah,
So when he actually does bide his time and come up with a plan, it ends up going fairly well for him.
yeah.
So he was just plotting for a while. But a lot of shitty shit things happen.
So basically, Angelus reunites with Spike and Drusilla. Is it mad because he still remembers all the feelings and stuff like that that Angel had for Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the plot to hurt her and all the loved ones, everyone involved. So he starts to wreak havoc, and unfortunately, though, Miss Calendar, being a part of the gypsies who had cursed him, and also knowing that she's working on being
It's found out, though. Hold on. Before we get to that, though, it's found out by both Giles and Buffy that Miss Calendar knew about Angel, and they found out that she was that sleeper cell or whatever, and they found out that she was trying to keep Buffy away from Angel.
oh yeah,
So once the whole Angelus thing happens, they all kind of like turn their back on Miss Calendar.
Yeah.
So this entire time she is looking up the ritual to restore Angel's soul.
Yeah, and to try to make up with Giles and
Yes.
kind of get back into like
Hmm.
with the clique and everything like that. I mean, and I'm sure she feels bad of not. She was sent for a very specific reason in the mission and told to kind of keep quiet about it. So she wasn't like she was doing it on purpose per se, as far as being malicious about it. But
Yeah.
it just it is what it was. That was her destiny. Um, and unfortunately, she caught feelings, and it gets messy.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they're on the rocks. They're starting to kind of mend things a little bit. Things start to kind of get a little bit more approachable slightly.
Yeah. Like things are starting to get okay. And she finally translates the ritual. She has like a computer program. She translates the
In the
ritual
floppy disk.
on a
On a floppy disk.
floppy.
Children, if you don't know what the floppy disk was back in our
That's
time,
the save icon.
that was our USB back in the day.
Yeah. They would hold about 1 page of information.
Yes.
One ritual's worth of information. So it was like, I think, translated from like ancient Sumerian or something like that. And she had which is called the Orb of Thessala,
Oh yeah.
which there's only like so few left in existence. Most people don't even know what the fuck to use it for, so they just kind of use it like as a fancy paperweight
Yeah.
that like Giles did. So anyway, Miss Calendar has the ritual translated. She has all the ingredients, and Angel finds out.
Yep. So he finds out, intercepts her at the school. So the floppy disk isn't destroyed, so like, but it's kind of falls in between like the computer and like a desk or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's kind of like it was on the desk, and then it falls in between the desk and like the filing cabinet or whatever next to
Yeah.
it.
But he breaks the orb,
Yeah.
and so she obviously tries to escape. They're, kind of doing the cat and mouse thing running through the school, and it's a really sad scene, but the way they filmed it was really good.
It was filmed very well. That whole scene, like it's narrated by, I think, Whistler, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was the he's like a demon type character who was in House on Haunted Hill.
Yes, he was.
Uh he kind of helped Angel find his way when he was like roaming the streets after he found his way to America after getting his soul, and he was trying to find a purpose. So maybe we can blame Whistler for turning Angel onto Buffy.
Oh, yeah. But
So fuck you, Whistler. But anyway, Whistler kind of narrates this episode talking about passion.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, that made it even so much worse.
And so Angel's thing is that he likes to kind of be pretty sadistic with his murders and everything. So he ends up killing Miss Calendar.
He ends up killing her, but like, he's chasing her through the school, and they come to the stairwell, which is, framed by this huge window.
It's backlit, so you see like their silhouettes.
But and he kills her in such a way too that I wasn't expecting. She figured like he's a vampire savage, like it's gonna bite her or whatever, and he kind of grabs her and just snaps her neck, and just the way that they filmed it, and just the look of satisfaction on his face was just so cruel. I just
Mm-hmm.
but then after,
Oh God.
so after he, knowing that her and Giles were kind of an item, and that Giles had found passion and found love in her, had basically set her up in in his apartment, right?
Yeah. So he makes it seem like he sends Giles like essentially a love note from Miss Calendar saying like, "Hey,
Roses,
meet me at your
candles.
place." And he sets up this whole scene at his place. Like there's rose petals everywhere, there's candles, there's little notes saying like upstairs. And he goes upstairs and he sees a dead Miss Calendar in his bed,
It's
surrounded
just
by rose petals.
heartbreaking. Oh my God.
And you see, like, everyone else finds out about it. like it, also the scene, so like it's still being narrated by Whistler, and you see Angel is like sitting outside of Buffy's house, and she gets the call because at this point, like, Angel's been like terrorizing everyone's houses, so everyone's like kind of trying to like stay together.
Yeah.
um Buffy had uninvited Angel because there's a spell to uninvite
Yeah.
a vampire from your home. So Willow is staying with Buffy at her place. So Angel's outside kind of watching this unfold, so he knows that
He knows
Buffy's
what the
going to get a
call is and
call
what
at,
the
at some point.
yeah.
She gets a call, she finds out, hands the phone to Willow. Willow finds out, and like I said before, anytime Allison Hannigan cries, I'm just like, it just starts
Yeah.
flowing.
And especially too, like between the two of them before they kind of got like the falling out, they were starting to get really close.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's just God, he was just such a sadistic bastard to know to set all that all up,
Mm-hmm.
time it, and then go to watch their reactions to like continue to enjoy their pain.
Yeah.
And again, you see the moment of Giles, the other side of him of being a watcher and some of his past, where he is trained to fight. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
not this weak bookworm that everyone thinks he is.
No.
So he immediately just starts packing bags to go out for revenge, and poor Giles unfortunately gets tortured quite horrifically.
No,
Was that
not
what that?
that. No. That was a different scene. That was a different episode.
Oh, different. Well, eventually
Yes, eventually, yes.
it leads to
But
torture.
what happens in this episode though is that Giles goes to the house that he knows that Angel and Spike and Drusilla are staying at, and he essentially goes to burn it down. And he's like he pretty much plans on not
Coming
leaving
back,
there.
yeah.
And Buffy finds out, goes to follow him, and gets gets him out of there. And there's like this lovely scene between the two of them. But she rescues him, and then what happens later on after that is like only a few more episodes. That's when there's Becoming Part 1 and 2, which are like the last two episodes of the season. That's when
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Giles ends up getting tortured. But because of that, so like Angelus is trying to bring about the end of the world. There's the demon Acathla
Yeah.
that is he's stuck in stone,
Yeah.
and he's trying to figure out the ritual to
Oh, basically open this portal
open this
essentially.
portal to hell.
Yeah.
So at this point, Spike is like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that this doesn't go well for you, because I know that you can actually pull it off,
Yeah.
and I like this world.
And he likes that. And then also too, like Drusilla's fallen for Angel or
Mhm.
fallen back with Angel. I don't know. She's smitten and not really with Spike anymore. So he's like,
Exactly.
I'm gonna get my bitch. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
So he teams up with the Slayer, and Buffy's like, "Why the fuck would I trust you? You're an asshole." And he's like, "Okay, hey, I can make sure that you stop this.
Yeah.
So let's work together towards a common goal of stopping Angel doing whatever the fuck he's doing."
Yeah.
So Angel ends up kidnapping Giles because he's very smart. He knows what Angel needs in order to make the ritual work.
Yeah.
And it turns out that to get that out of him, Drusilla, who is not only crazy, but kind of like a little bit psychic and a little bit kind of with the
She has
mystical in some way,
yeah, she
magic.
has some powers a little bit.
Yeah, so she ends up essentially hypnotizing Giles into thinking that she is Miss Calendar. And Miss Calendar, aka Drusilla, ends up getting the information that Angel needs after being tortured for like days on end.
Yeah.
But it was Spike's idea to use Drusilla instead of like going all like Angel going all hardcore with tortures, like, because he's not, hasn't worked thus far
Yeah.
to get what you want. So why don't you use Drusilla? It'll be
And at
much
that
easier.
point though, like he was pretty broken and exhausted.
Yes.
So
So it's understandable that
Yeah.
Giles had given. He's just like, oh my god, I just want to get you. I want to get you safety on. We got to get out of. We got to get Angel away from McCaslin. It's just because that's what he needs. He needs his blood. So let's go. Let's get the fuck out. So, um, everyone's kind of been hurt at this point.
Angel or Willow's in the hospital,
Willow's in the hospital.
but she also found the floppy disk and
Yes.
has everyone like the Scooby Gang gather up everything that she needs. So she's like, and I think Buffy knows too. She's like, I'm pretty sure I can get his soul back. Like, just give me the time. Like, I can perform this ritual, which are all the kind of nervous because it's pretty heavy duty stuff. And she's just now started to kind of play around a little bit with the arts.
Yeah.
And Buffy is just like, I'm ready to kill this motherfucker. You know, feelings aside,
Yeah.
gotta do what I gotta do.
She's like, but if you can bring him back,
Yeah.
then you do that.
Yeah.
So she goes for like a one final showdown with Angel to get back, her lover.
So, my issue with
This episode or what?
the ritual. So the ritual, like, once it's open, Buffy has to kill Angel to close it, the portal. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Please tell me how you know when a vampire's dead and how to kill a vampire. 'Cause it ain't stabbing him in the chest with a steel sword.
Well, it's kind of like in the 5th season when you need the blood to open it and you
Yeah.
need the blood to close it.
Well, they said that to kill him, but he ain't dead. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
but
not how you kill a vampire.
but it's still blood for blood.
I took it literally.
Well, you can't.
Clearly not.
Because you also like Dawn isn't Buffy, and yet their blood is the same.
Well, 'cause she was made from Buffy.
Yes,
So,
but
i.e., all right, never mind. We're getting off tangent.
this it,
Listen, all I'm saying is a ritual said you have to kill this person, being
I don't
whatever
know if it
vampire.
actually literally said that you had to kill him. I think they just she's just like, what other choice do I have but to kill him?
But she
Which is
didn't.
true. But that's
She
how he
knew,
was
but
able to.
she knew
But that's
she
how
wasn't. She knew she wasn't killing him with the sword.
Well, she knew that he wasn't coming back.
Yeah, she plunged him into the portal. Yes, but
So it's in her mind is essentially
all right,
killing him,
fair enough.
sending him to some hell dimension. You might as well kill him.
Fair enough. I don't know. That was one of the things that kind of stuck out to me, where I was like, but he was never dead.
Yeah, but that's why I was able to come back.
Yeah. It was kind of sad though, because Willow does succeed when
the
she
last minute.
fucking plunges that goddamn sword in. Is oh shit.
Yeah, so like the portal opens or starts to open.
That's right. Yeah.
The ritual works.
It's too
So
late 'cause the portal's
it's too low.
open.
Yeah, it's too late, and so Buffy realizes that Angel is Angel. He's no longer Angelus because she saw like the flash in his
spark,
eyes,
yeah.
and he's just like, oh my god, what's going on? Blah blah blah. And she was like, oh yeah, we're here. Blah, blah. And she sees the portal. She's like, okay, close your eyes, which is the same thing that Darla told him when she changed him, when she turned him. So I don't think that Angel should ever close his eyes anymore when a woman tells him to. Just, heads up for Angel. But, yeah, so portal opens. He turns back into Angel.
Yeah.
She plunges his sword, and he goes into the portal.
Gets sucked up and then turns back into stone, and Buffy has another breakdown and leaves.
She does, and she leaves for LA this time. So
on her own, though, not
Yeah.
back with Dad.
No, yeah. This is so the first 2 seasons, she kind of has some pretty shitacular things happen to her. But we'll talk about this in the next season, but her friends are getting pretty sick of it.
Yeah, they are, and I can't blame them.
Yeah, no, I would be like, all right, you get one. You get one. That second one, though,
Mm-mm.
nah, nah,
Because she
you
didn't even
gotta
like
learn your
tell
lesson.
anybody. She just fucking left.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, we'll get that. We'll get to that in the next season, in the next episode. But anyway, so like this, to sum up, season 2 had some really iconic.
Yes. All right. So to sum up season 2, Buffy worked through trauma. She learned some hard life lessons in between of what it means to be a Slayer in the real world outside of the supernatural and how to navigate that. People fall in love. People are unfortunately slaughtered, and you get more backstory
Mm-hmm.
to Angelus, and you're introduced to Spike and that whole build up. Again, Willow starts to kind of like sneakily, not sneakily, but in passing, they start to show her and mention her practicing spells and starting to get into witchcraft.
And you meet Oz. Oz and Willow get together.
Yes.
So she's no longer focusing on Xander. Uh, Xander and Cordelia end up being a thing.
Yes. So really, this season I think is a lot about love and passion and relationships, and kind of figuring out how to get over hurt and figuring out what you want in relationships and yourself and how to grow from there. And there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of growth, loss, and love,
Exactly.
and
Yep.
iconic characters introduced as well.
Yes. So, well, what I also find kind of one of the things that stood out to me is that like so after the people were trying to figure out how Angelus turned.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Giles was trying to figure out how Angelus turned because no one quite understood.
Oh,
They didn't
they didn't know
know
what the true
about.
moment of happiness
Yeah,
was.
they didn't
Oh,
know what
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
was, and he's like Giles is like, well, did anything happen that night? Because he was fine, and then he wasn't. Blah blah blah, and they eventually find out what it took to get to make his soul go away.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where Buffy is like, you know, afraid that Giles is going to be super disappointed in her and blah 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 blah. And he's just like, well, what what do you want from me? You want me to scold you, tell that you did bad, blah blah blah. And he's just like, no, you're just going to get my love and understanding and all this kind of stuff. He's like, you didn't make the best decision, but I
It
still
was,
love you,
yeah, it
essentially.
was a human
And
decision. Like,
yeah, and that was like so heartwarming and a true like father figure kind of
yeah.
thing
I
for
also think that was
Buffy.
hard for Buffy to hear. I
Yes,
think she was
like
hoping to be scolded.
hmm I think she wanted to get some kind of penance for what happened, and it's just like he's like, you're not gonna get that from me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna guilt you and try to make you feel bad about what happened. I'm just gonna give you my love and understanding.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
There's a
oh
whole other
God.
character that we forgot to introduce in this season too that is reoccurring.
Who?
I'm pretty sure it was the Halloween episode with Ethan.
Ah,
Ethan Rain.
yes, Ethan Rain, who is an old
School chum.
of Giles,
Yeah.
where you find out about Ripper.
Yep.
That's kind of like Giles's hardcore.
It's when he was a bad boy.
Yes.
We'll get into that next season.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the Halloween episode. It was a good one.
Yeah.
That's where um Ethan Rain has a costume shop, and he's bewitched all the costumes.
So whatever you dress up as, you
That's what you're
turn
going to
into.
become.
Yeah.
So Xander becomes a combat veteran
Yeah, basically like
and
soldier.
a soldier. Um, Buffy, in trying to be more desirable to Angel, becomes like a Victorian,
Debutante, essentially.
yeah,
Yeah.
of that era. Willow turns into a ghost, but Buffy was trying to have her, come as you aren't kind of thing.
Yeah.
So because Willow is normally a very shy, quiet, meek kind of person, Buffy's like, all right, now you gotta dress like a, vampy little sex kitten. Dresses her in like this tight little mini skirt and, crop top and all this kind of stuff. And then
She's like, I'm just gonna be a ghost and put
she
a sheet
just,
over myself.
puts a sheet that she had gotten from Ethan Rain's shop over her. So when Ethan Rain goes with the ritual, Willow turns into a ghost.
Yep.
Everyone turns into their respective things, except for Cordelia, who got her costume from a different shop. And that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. That was another one with Spike.
Yeah.
So so season 2, definitely a lot of good episodes happen and iconic ones, and you delve into the characters, and then they die, and then such is Joss Whedon's thing. Like that's his shtick. He likes to make you fall in love with a character and then kill them horribly in front of you. Is that not the truth?
I feel like there are other writers and directors who do a far better job than Joss Whedon does. I don't think that's his shtick.
That's we'll tally up at the end of this shit.
No, I'm not saying that there isn't like a tally, and I think I started by saying like he hates love. Realistically, like nobody has a happy fucking ending story when it comes to relationships or love in the series. But it's not the first thing that stands out to me.
No, like across all of his shows, he likes to have you like a character and then kill them.
I'm just saying that I think there are other directors and writers who've done a better job at that, and it's not the first thing
All
that
right,
sticks
explain.
out to me of his work.
Who?
George R. R. Martin? Are you fucking kidding me? Is that even a debate?
That was in one series, though. Joss Whedon did it throughout all of his series and everything he's ever done, aside from Avengers.
All right, I'm not having this argument right now.
Why?
Because I'm just saying, one, we're out of time. We're way over time. Two, I'm just saying, like, as far as his body of work, that is not the thing that stands out to me. It's just not. Never
It's
has been.
One of his things.
It's not. Honestly, it's never one of the things that crossed my mind.
We're going to have this discussion. Anyway, we're going to be talking about season 3 in the next episode. Check out Buffy on Hulu right now during their Huluween.
Stop giving me
thing.
that look.
I'm giving you a fucking look. I don't care. You can catch all of our other social medias down in the description box down below. If you like our vibe, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.